So don't trust the physical world, because you have to remember the man built the physical world based on the natural world, which is the natural world is an imprint based on the cosmic world, which is just basically the natural world is a much more denser version of what we all doing spiritually and things like that. Like even down to when you even look at a fucking tree. A tree suck up water and that energy goes to the top and it produce leaves, it produce fruits and things like that. Same thing like that, a tree actually exists cosmologically, because we just kind of climbing cosmic ladders, we climbing esoteric ladders and things like that. So everything in the physical world, everything in the dense reality is just a version of our mentality. So never look at the physical world like it's something to worship. You know, man just used the physical world to create some mental, well, we use the mental world to create some type of physical proportion to explain what's going on cosmologically. And you know, this is when you see religion happening. This is when you see world governments and things like that, because the same way we govern nature, the same way nature governs itself as a natural system, a natural law system, we create a system to govern man based on that natural law system, not the other way around where man is governing nature. This is why people come up with terms like, you know, especially tribal people, they come up with terms like, oh, Mother Nature is angry with man, because really Mother Nature sometimes might view man as a virus itself, because it's kind of going against the ordained natural nature of things. Like, think about it. If you have a natural state of being, right? If you have a state of being, but you have to learn how to separate from it, whether it's angelic or demonic, that takes you to know yourself. So you can't be or do something that's outside of you unless you're somehow going to lie to yourself about it and put that, you know, try to do that in a man-made way, because you're always going to have to be you. But if you don't look at that through the filtering system, okay, like that's a state of being that I have that is natural to me, but instead you look at it like, okay, that's something that man gave me, or man tells me I gotta go about it this way, and if I don't get paid and things like that, based on the system that they created that's an imprint of the natural system, then you're gonna find yourself lost, because you're gonna be in some man-made like subsidiaries and things like that, and you're gonna think that you're supposed to use your characteristics and attributes forward, and you're gonna be with an idea like, okay, this is my dream job, and this is just how I should use my thoughts and feelings, because this train of thoughts and feelings, God want me to use it for this man-made world. But really, your thoughts and feelings is just something that you're not even your thoughts and feelings. We're just receiving these things. We're a conduit for these things. And based on the limitations that you choose to put upon your own mind, that's going to be how far you can go, you know, with a thought and a feeling. Because a lot of people think that, you know, we have to use these thoughts and feelings of the world, but these thoughts and the feelings of the world, really we be conditioned to think within a certain expansion of parameter and contract within that parameter, so we can keep creating the shadow government world. So, you know, you have to be able to tell the difference between natural law and man-made things, because man-made things have nothing to do with God. You know, religion has nothing to do with God. All these things have nothing to do with God. The government got nothing to do with God. They're going to tell you that, hey, we got something to do with God, but really, they don't got nothing to do with God, because you could see that they really kind of just sucking people's lifeblood and things like that. But at the same time, though, if you're not doing nothing with your mind, then if you don't mind, you don't matter, because you're basically letting it happen to you. Because you can't tell me that you're eating 24 buckets of Kentucky Fried Chicken and you're not getting on the treadmill to detox yourself and get rid of those toxins and things like that. And then when you become obese and when you develop cancer, when you develop disease, you can't tell nobody that you didn't know what was going on. No, you knew what was going on, but based on you being so disconnected from reality, so separated from your own body, so separate from even from your own mind, you didn't even want to look at these things. So you'd be kind of almost be kind of like running from reality, where they would kind of create a space somewhere in their mind, and they would stay in there, and it would be all kind of circumstances and all types of situations happening in your life to kind of burn that space, to make you get out of that. And that's when you get into the allegory of people digging a hole for themselves, because you just be getting denser and denser and denser, lower and lower and lower, rather than you elevating, rather than you getting higher, because we stuck in this man-made system. So we forgot how to look at God and things like that, because all these buildings, all these religions, all these structures, all these entertainments, everything that you see, feel, think, and the human made sense out of, that came from a cosmological, cosmogony, astrological, that which is just basically another concept of just how the stars are moving, the cycle that we in, and putting meanings and reasonings behind it, like yin and yang, for example. That's just a perspective of what's going on in reality. That's not actually reality, but it's explaining, spectrums of light, spectrums of energy, and things like that. So what man gotta remember is that we can't get lost in all this man-made shit. Man-made shit is by definition is man-made. Like when you look at a product and say it's made in China, man, you don't think the Bible was made in Israel? The Bible made in Europe? The Quran made in Saudi, or made in Egypt, made in Sudan, or whatever? All these things was just made by people who wanted to create an intellectual property to explain things that because they try to explain to you life, but they kind of didn't tell you where they got it from. Instead, they told you, okay, yeah, we got it from God, okay? But they really created a subsidiary of God, and they forgot to tell you what really is those things, instead of giving you their version of those things. So that's why we gotta start to look at, okay, where did these man-made things come from, and how can we start to understand the origin of those things, what are they actually trying to explain, rather than us getting stuck in all these man-made things. Because again, it's all just man-made. So you got to get into the natural law, the natural cycles of things, so you can start to understand what is ordained to happen, and what, not necessarily what you should be doing, what you should be doing too, because you have an energy imprint on you, and you're either going to take that spectrum and do it in a very demonic way, meaning you're not going to want to look at your own natures and analyze them and use your angelic side, because that's why you're living here, because you're trying to gather data, which is just left brain, you gathering information, you being able to visibly see objectively that you're stuck in a cycle, and you got some type of feeling that you in, some type of passion and desire that you in, something you gotta give some rebirth, some death to, so you can start to actually go about your life and actually live a positive, healthy life that is not just only just supporting this man-made system, so you can actually support the next reality that you're creating, because this is really what we're doing. But so long as that we're afraid of creating our own mind and keeping our mind within this confined parameter of information, you're not going to be able to create a mind out there. You're going to create a mind that reincarnates you back here, rather than you actually incarnating, and you're going to have a heavier cycle to deal with, which is not a bad thing. It's just, again, God reminding you. I mean, you don't have to go through it if you know what's going on. It's just God reminding you, hey, look, you got more stuff to deal with, so look at what's on your plate. Stop not looking what's on your plate and trying to pretend like you're not eating your own shit, and you eating like on rose, you got your rose-colored glasses on and all that. So yeah, man, remember, it's just all man-made stuff. Understand natural law, understand these things that are cosmic and divine, because all just divine is, it's just a fancy name for just natural cycles, things that we all going through, menstrual cycles, for example, for females and things like that, ego and things like that. All these things, just things that natures we're dealing with, and the better we learn to deal with these natures, the better we can learn to manifest and actually create a reality that is coincides with God's mentality, and we're not lost in some bullshit or some ego that the world trying to put us in. But yeah, I love y'all, appreciate y'all. Ain't nothing y'all can do about it. I'm gonna see y'all on the next video. You better fucking believe it.